sun and watch it work. Seeds of joy in every row. Come on down, we'll show you how what's fresh and green is growing now. At Bob's Market, we've got it all, from garden dreams to greenhouse halls. Catch the buzz, catch the show, where the best of the season grows. Tomatoes ripe, peppers bright, tips for keeping blooms in sight. Let's make your backyard glow. Tools and plants, advice for free. Bob's is where you want to be. At Bob's Market, we've got it all, from garden dreams to greenhouse halls. Catch the buzz, catch the show, where the best of the season grows.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Bob's Live. And if you've watched the show for a while, you might be saying, wait, this is Thursday. This isn't Tuesday. Yeah, I've made the decision to move our weekly live show from Tuesday evenings at 5 p.m. to Thursdays at 1 p.m. And I'm doing it for really two reasons. One is a selfish reason, and that is, staying late on a Tuesday night isn't exactly fun. And the other reason is our data actually backs up this move. Looking at how videos and other content performs on Facebook and YouTube and other social media, it actually shows that video does better on Thursdays for some reason for us. So yeah, I decided to move the show to kind of the middle of the day on a Thursday. I know a lot of folks might be at work, but also the data shows that most people watch Bob's Live as a replay after the fact. And along with that, I'm going to be making some changes going forward. So like the layout of the screen here, if most people are watching it in replay, I'm still going to leave so chats will show up on the screen, but I'm going to kind of make it a little bit smaller. Again though, I'm always watching the chats both on YouTube over on this screen, Facebook down on my phone, and Twitter on that screen. So if you do leave a comment, I'll still keep an eye out for it and respond to it during the episode. That being said, let's jump into it, because I have got some exciting stuff planned going into fall. I always worry this time of year about what I'm bringing to the show kind of getting stale and repetitive. As we move into fall, the gardens are winding down. And that's just not the case. I've got some events that I'm going to bring you along to. And then also, while I was gone over the last few weeks, I was working on some content. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But up first, let's talk about what's happening here at Bob's. So at our stores, down at Mason right now, we just started carrying T-bombs from Point Nutrition. So you can stop by our store. You don't have to drive all the way down to Point Pleasant to get them. And so far, they've been selling really well. Actually, when we first got the first batch in, we sold out pretty quickly. Also, we have kind of a revamped houseplant section at our Mason store. And we're also starting to get in fall items like fall flags. And speaking of fall, we're going to start getting in fall plants. So right now we've got some mums that are just starting to pop up at our Uptown location. But today I stopped by down at our River Range, which those are the mums that you can see like if you're crossing the bridge over into Mason. Those are the mums that you can see when you're crossing the bridge. So I stopped by down there and shot some video just to kind of do a refresher on mum care. So mums are going to be showing up in our stores next week. And then as we move further into fall, of course, we're going to get pansies in, ornamental cabbage and kale, and all that great stuff, along with, pumpkins, gourds, everything that you need to decorate your home for fall. So let's check out the mums. Today I'm down here at our chrysanthemum field along the Ohio River, and I thought we would take a look at the mums. Some of them are starting to pop some color up at our other location. So here in the next week or so, you're going to start seeing mums in our stores. So this is a good time to kind of cover the mum basics, which they are dead simple to take care of. So mums naturally produce pyrethrin compounds, so they are pretty resistant to things like insects. That being said, they're really kind of maintenance free. The only thing that you have to keep in mind is watering them. So, as I've shown before on Bob's Live, we use an irrigation drip line system to water our mums, because there's really one saying that you can keep in mind with mums, and that is that they like to have wet feet but a dry head. So we water them all at the base of the plant, and that's really what they like. Watering them overhead, that gets the foliage wet, and then you can start to get into like some fungus growth issues. So if you have your mum at home, make sure that you water it around the base of the plant. The other thing is survivability. I know folks that try to overwinter their mums, but here in our region, we kind of straddle zone 6, zone 7. Mums have about a 50-50 shot of making it through the winter, if that. So what I tell people is treat your mum as if it's an annual. Don't expect it to come back. If it does come back, hey, lucky you. It is a fun experiment to try out, but kind of go in with the expectation that it probably won't survive. That being said, myself, I had one that survived a couple years before we had a particularly cold winter that killed it. So it really comes down to how mild our winter is. But yeah, if you plant one in your landscape, give overwintering it a try. It never hurts, and it can be a fun experiment. Finally, when you're picking out your mum, you want to look for one that's full of buds that haven't quite opened yet. That'll give you the longest period of blooming throughout the fall. And something that we do is on all of our mums, we put a little label that has the color. So that'll help you out if it's mostly not blooming. So for this and other great information, head over to our website at bobsmarket.com. So that is a quick rundown of the basics of mum care. And yeah, as I said, we'll be getting our first little batch of mums in next week, and then over the next coming weeks, we're just going to, really dig into fall. Speaking of digging in, now is a great time to get out and do some garden work. And there we go. Where I'm doing this now at 1 p.m., I need to remember to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Anyhow, lost my train of thought there. Let's talk about the weather. So the weather forecast right now, we're kind of seeing a little bit of the effects of Hurricane Aaron. It's a little bit cloudy and a little bit drizzly out today. But we are having a cold front that's pushing into the area. So we're actually going to see temperatures drop over the coming days. So we're going to have kind of a warm weekend. There we go. It had to kind of refresh there. But heading into next week, we're actually going to see a cool down. Which is going to be nice because we can get out, work in the gardens, kind of clear them out, and get ready for fall. I know in my own garden, I've got a lot of work to do. And that kind of feeds into, let me find my mouse here. If you listen to the podcast, you'll know that over the last few weeks, they were pre-recorded and didn't include a weather forecast. And that's because I went on a massive 20-day vacation after Cultivate. And, over the next few weeks, I'm going to share some videos from my vacation. So it was kind of a working vacation for at least a couple days, because there's one thing that I had to hike 8 miles to get video for you guys. Probably the hardest hike of my life. We started off at 9,500 feet and hiked up close to 11,000 feet. We were just under a glacier. But that was to get video of some of the oldest plants on Earth. And that's going to be a really interesting video. And then I also visited a botanical garden that has plants in it that you really won't find here in our region. So that's going to be interesting too. So where I went for the last 20 days was out to Utah, Arizona, Nevada, and I also went over to California for a week. But my wife and I, we love national parks and hiking, so we spent a lot of time in national parks, and I'm going to bring you along for the ride because we were out in deserts most of the time. And there's a lot of unique plant life out there that we don't have here. And a lot of it's really specialized to survive in the desert or extreme elevation, in the case of the plants that I was talking about that are some of the oldest plants on Earth. I don't want to give too much away before we do the videos. But yeah, in the coming weeks, we're going to go west and check out some interesting stuff in Nevada and Utah are the two main places that we're going to be hitting in our videos. But also, prior to going on vacation, I went out to Columbus for Cultivate, which is the yearly trade show for our industry. And out there, I learned a lot of really neat stuff that I'm going to be applying, both in how I produce videos here at Bob's, but also a lot of stuff in the background that you're not going to really see. but it will kind of bleed through into our website and different things like that. So you can expect some changes kind of in the background. um, but I did want to share some video from Cultivate. I shared some during the event, and then we left on vacation and we kind of had radio silence for the last 20 days. But I thought I would give you a look back at Cultivate this week. So let's cover that, and that'll be the show for this week.
The gardens meet, a symphony of green grows sweet, rose of wisdom, petals bright.
I'm starting off Cultivate this year over at the Ohio State University Trial Gardens. So what is a trial garden? It's basically a real life test of how plants will perform. You see, a lot of times they're growing in the greenhouse, and that's all that we ever see of them. So they're in kind of perfect conditions. This is a real world test. So it helps growers like us to come out and look at trial gardens to see how new varieties are performing. And, well, let me show you around to see what it looks like. And if you're ever in the Columbus area, you can come out here and check them out yourself. It's right here on campus.
Green embrace to soothe the strain, like jazz, it's a dance we know, improvised as we all grow, from every root a chance anew, the world's a garden and so are you. Never too late, with every sprig, with every vine, the future's ours to design.
Hi, John Morgan here, and today I am at the Franklin Park Conservatory. So let's check it out.
Cultivate, oh cultivate, plant the seeds, it's never too late, with every sprig, with every vine, the future's ours. Cultivate, oh cultivate, plant the seeds, it's never too late, with every sprig.
Today I'm here on the trade show floor at Cultivate 2025.
To design. The gardens meet, a symphony of green grows sweet.
And that's it for Cultivate 2025.
Petals bright, ideas bloom in the soft spotlight.
And that's a quick recap of Cultivate 2025. And something that I covered while I was at Cultivate was the trial gardens out at Ohio State. So it's a really interesting trial garden. Next week, I'm actually going to be going to another plant trial, and this is another one that you can visit. It's actually the Cincinnati Zoo. So, the Cincinnati Zoo is the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden, and part of their program there is trialing plants. So, next week on Tuesday, right? Well, I'm driving out on Tuesday. It's on Wednesday. But next week on Wednesday, they're having their annual Breeders' Day. So I'm going to go out and cover it. So later on, we'll have kind of a recap video of that. And then here in a few weeks, I'm going to be heading to Virginia, where I'm actually going to be speaking at it's a controlled environment agriculture summit. So I'm going to take you along for the ride to that also. So that's some upcoming events that I have. Also, here at the end of September, I don't know if they've posted on their website yet, but at the Bassard Library in Gallipolis, Ohio, I'm going to be doing a workshop on terrariums. And there is a fee for the workshop because, we have to cover materials, but it's going to be a hands-on making a terrarium workshop. So check out their website for information on that. And once they do get it up, I need to check and make sure that it is. I'll share it over on our website as well. But it's going to be, I think there's 24 slots available, and I think we settled on like $12 per person to help cover some of the cost of it. And well, that is all that I have for this week. So until next time, keep growing.
Got it all, from garden dreams to greenhouse halls. Catch the buzz, catch the show.